Good evening. This is CTV News for Thursday, November 8th. I'm Rochelle Metzger.
And I'm Patricia Vallone. Glad to have you with us tonight. Well, it's been just over a year since the stabbing death of an 18-year-old student rocked the campus of Bowie State University. The accused killer is scheduled to go on trial next week. But what about the campus and the students who lived through the tragedy? Have they healed? Denise Douglas has more on how they're coping and the latest on the upcoming trial. She has the story from Upper Marlboro.
Jury selection is underway here at the courthouse for 20-year-old Alexis Simpson. She was a sophomore at Bowie State University when she allegedly stabbed and killed her 18-year-old roommate Dominique Frazier after an argument over loud music on an iPod. On Bowie State University's campus, time has passed, but the memories of the tragedy haven't.
I was very shocked. I was extremely shocked. It's just, you think you can send your child to school and they can be safe, but I guess, just a series of unfortunate events. One thing led to another, and unfortunately, someone's dead because of it.
Just days before homecoming last September, 18-year-old Dominique Frazier and Alexis Simpson, 19 at the time, got into an argument over how loud music was playing on an iPod. It ended when Simpson allegedly stabbed Frazier in the neck with a pair of scissors. She's now about to go on trial.
My prayers are with her family because I just feel like, they've now got to deal with that for the rest of their lives. So I just feel like, in essence, we've lost two young ladies because one's no longer here and the other one's potentially going to be in jail for the rest of her life.
I think people are a little bit more sensitive to situations like that.
Ashley Harris says the incident has changed her and others. They are more aware of their actions. In fact, it is one of the reasons she has decided to organize a rally against violence.
Something like a Stop the Violence 2.0 type situation, just to get community leaders as well as the parents of victims, family members of victims, victims, everyone together to actually say, let's actually make an effort proactively to put a stop to this thing indefinitely.
And she's hoping it will be a step in helping this campus and the community as a whole continue to heal from something they'll never forget.
It happened here on the campus. People still live in their hall. People are missing friends. People are missing classmates. Professors are missing students. So I don't think we'll ever completely heal from it, but we can get on.
The trial is expected to start on Tuesday. I'm Denise Douglas, CTV News.
And one of the students tells CTV News that the university has been encouraging the use of its peer mediation program since the incident. Meanwhile, a spokeswoman for the state's attorney's office says the trial is expected to run several days.
A string of burglaries in Mount Rainier is prompting police to increase patrols in the area. The city has seen 17 burglaries since mid-October. According to authorities, they occurred largely in single-family homes by two people working in team fashion. Police arrested two men in connection with the incident on Tuesday, but another robbery last night now points to more suspects.
Been very fortunate. Haven't had any problems at all. I have 3 great-grandchildren that live with me, and they haven't had any problems with anyone.
Police say they think the robberies are linked to similar crimes in Brentwood.
Election day has come and gone, but some races are still too close to call. This morning, the Prince George's Board of Elections began counting some 18,000 absentee ballots in Upper Marlboro. The process is expected to wrap up by tomorrow evening. Officials say they plan to start counting the provisional and military ballots next week.
In the state of Maryland, all of the results are become official and certified on the second Friday after the election, which would be next Friday, November 16th. We're very pleased about the election was successful.
And Alexander says they have received 16,000 provisional and 2,000 military ballots. One of the most closely watched races is the District 1 school board seat. Sabrina Epps currently leads her opponent David Murray by 250 votes.
It's been a big year for the gay rights movement. On Tuesday, voters in Maryland upheld the state's same-sex marriage law. Maryland and Maine are now the first 2 states in the country to approve it by popular vote. CTV's Sonia Srivastava is standing by with State Senator Richard Madaleno, who has long fought for marriage equality.
Well, we are joined by Richard Madaleno. He is a senator from Montgomery County, and we want to welcome you, first of all, to CTV. And this has been a personal fight for you. Tell me what the passage of this means to you and your family.
Well, it's hard to put into words exactly what this victory means, because to finally be able to get a marriage license in the state of Maryland and to have all of the rights, responsibilities, duties, and obligations that come with that marriage license, and the stability and the security that only comes from having that marriage license. It's significant and hard to fully describe what it means.
Now, will you be getting remarried in Maryland?
Well, we're going to be. We were talking about it the other day. In fact, that we're going to renew our vows because we got married 11 years ago in Maryland at our church. In Bethesda.
Senator Madaleno, you know, the measure passed narrowly, 51.9%, but it was passed by a popular vote. Now, do you think that this reflects a dramatic social change in the country?
Well, I don't know if it reflects a giant change in the country, but I think it is a sign of change, certainly in our state. I mean, considering that wherever this had been put up for a popular vote before, it had always failed, that in one night, Maine and Maryland and most likely Washington State were able to all pass the same thing, all by, interestingly, the same 52-48 margin.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the provisions that are in the bill that would protect clergy, protect some of the vendors. Talk about that.
Well, I'm pleased to say not just in the bill, but are now in the law.
In the law, right.
It makes it very clear that no clergy member, no religious organization, no church, no denomination need recognize any marriage that doesn't fit within the teachings of that faith or the beliefs of that individual. I think another way to put it is, would you want your wedding to be officiated by someone who doesn't believe you should be married? I don't. I wouldn't want to hear the sermon during that service. And so we try to be very clear. Look, you've never heard of two Muslims walking into a Catholic church suing to get married. We're not going to do that either. There are plenty of places, religious groups that are welcoming. My church already sent me an email within hours of passage saying, hey, we want you to get married here.
Election night, all eyes were on Maryland and on Maine, looking at what we were doing here. Do you think other states are looking at us and looking at the way the legislature went about to get this passed?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because I think we helped dispel this unfortunate myth that came out of California on the Prop 8 vote 4 years ago, that there was uniform opposition to this issue amongst minorities. And in fact, when you see the results in Maryland and Prince George's and Baltimore City, obviously African Americans, Hispanic Americans, people of all type embraced marriage equality. So we won in the North, we won in the South, we won in the West. So as a result, I think many parts of the country are going to start revisiting this issue.
All right. Well, Senator Madaleno, certainly a pleasure to have you here.
It was wonderful to join you today.
All right. Well, we're going to send it back to the studio.
Same-sex couples will be able to marry in Maryland starting on January 1st.